Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th round of the Precision Racing League's 4th season with the iRacing Sunday Series. I am of course Justin, and today we'll be racing 28 laps around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in the Radical SR8. The last race before this one, the race before this one was at Road America, and unfortunately happened during the time I was having severe internet problems, so I've lost even more ground in the championship, unfortunately, as I was unable to take part in round 5 at Road America, which is really unfortunate. It's not a track that I've driven very much, but it is the type of track that I do really enjoy. Really classic American road track, obviously being called Road America, so I was really bummed to miss out on that one, but that's okay. We're going to push on. There's not going to be any championship results in this race because the standings have already changed. So there actually won't be any standings results for a couple of races. The next one won't have it either, but the one after that will. So this one and the next one will not. So in qualifying, I could only manage 133.6. It was really tough getting temperature into the tires before starting my laps, but everybody had the same problems. Excuse me. I think there's stuff. I think I could have been swerving more and spinning up the tires and stuff like that on my outlap to maybe try and generate more heat. It's something that I've been trying to do in the recent races more before qualifying. You know, just as soon as I come out of the pits, just drop it, brake down to a standing to just a stop, rev up the engine in neutral and just put it into gear to spin the tires up a little bit and just generate a little bit of rear tire temperature. And then I've been riding the brakes while on the straights in order to generate front tire temperature. And then just braking really hard in the braking zones because it's a forward brake bias on this car. I want to say most races I'm running about 58% forward brake bias. So 133.6, Lauro with a 131.2, my teammate, David with a 131.8, Spencer with a 132.0, Esty with a 132.6, Ashley with a 133.0, John with a 133.5, and Stefan with a 134.1. Stefan's pretty quick in this race actually, so don't let his qualifying time fool you. He's quicker than that. It's just I don't think he really got to put a lap together. Okay, let's go ahead and start the race. So again, I am starting from 7th on the grid in my black and green Radical there, and I've gotten a great start as I actually shoot up the inside of not just one, not two, but 3 cars as I go in between Ashley and Esty at the start, and I got the inside line on Ashley, and looks like I'm even going to be going side by side with with Spencer in that orange Radical, the kind of snakeskin one. And I am going to slot in behind him, even though I had the racing line. He braked a lot later than I did. He was just a little bit more confident on the brakes. So I'm currently in 4th position. I've got Lauro, David, and Spencer ahead of me in that order, with Ashley just behind in that wonderful Gulf livery there. And then just behind him is John Vitrano in the purple Radical, who has moved up ahead of Esty, and he's got James just behind him on this opening lap. Going through the chicane, 2nd gear in this car with these gears as well. I'm running the medium gear set. Obviously, this is a low downforce track. You really don't want to be running too much wing at all. Definitely not using the dive planes or anything like that either. So it's just all about reducing drag rather than creating downforce at this high-speed Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And we're on the long straight now, approaching speeds of 170 miles an hour, probably about 280 kilometers per hour or so. And going through it, and we get this great shot at the Wall of Champions as I'm all over the curb there. And John is just behind me, getting a nice tow down this start-finish straight as we finish lap 1 and start lap 2. And it looks like I've actually pulled out a little bit from him, even with that tow. He wasn't quite able to stick with me, and it looks like I pulled out a little bit on him. I don't know if I'm running less downforce than him, or if he's running shorter gears or something along those lines. I doubt it's the gears. Pretty sure everybody is running the medium gear length for this race. I've talked to some people at points during this season, and it really seems there is no track that is suited to the high gears. It's just you'll never hit top speed. It's just never going to happen. So hopefully that's something that iRacing will look into. And you can see already that I'm seriously losing touch with the cars up ahead. There's Lauro, David, and Spencer. And it's a nice 3 or 4 second gap already here on lap 2. I've got John just behind, but the two of us have managed to pull out a pretty nice gap to Ashley, who's currently running in 6th position. And again, John doing a great job of sticking with me, but he's definitely not close enough to pass or anything like that. He's too far back, as I'm taking a late apex for that hairpin in an effort to get on the gas as early as I can to try and maximize my exit speed out of that hairpin and get as much time down this straight, especially with John in my slipstream. I need a really good exit out of that hairpin. But you can see he's gaining on me this whole time. He's definitely getting a really nice toe. You can actually see him moving to the right to try and help him slow down. And going through the chicane now, past the wall of champions. And John using all of the track, getting very close to the wall there. And I'm going defensive, going to go to the left-hand side. But nope, he's too far back, so I move back over onto the racing line. Second gear for turn 1, first gear for turn 2. And I can tell you, in hindsight, those are probably my 2 slowest corners on the track. I definitely need to improve myself. At turns 1 and 2 is where I'm losing most of my time. So it's something I need to keep in mind for future seasons. Obviously, future seasons won't be with this car necessarily, as last season was with the roof, and the seasons before that were not with the Radical or the roof. So the cars do change, and there's actually been some voting on the PRL forums about what car is going to be used for next season. And right now, it looks like the Mustang is actually winning. So it's looking like next year, or next season, excuse me, next season we might be using the Mustang, which is a sports car. It's a lower weight. It's about 3,600 pounds, 350 horsepower. So it's about the same horsepower as this Radical, but it's twice the weight, obviously, and with a lot less downforce and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I enjoy racing, slower cars and stuff like that. I'm not the type of guy that only wants to race with F1 cars. As John is getting a really nice toe again as we head down towards the final chicane of the lap. It's the end of lap 3 now. We're on the end of lap 3 here. I don't know why the ticker up at the top says lap 2. And again, I think I've gotten a little bit of a better exit out of the final chicane. In the distance there, we can see Ashley defending against Esty. Esty is about the same distance from Ashley that John is from me, I would say. And some really nice racing developing at the back of the grid here, but as well at the front. And we will check on the guys at the front and just see what's going on up there. But with John this close, I can't, and he's definitely quicker than me, I can't imagine that he's going to be behind me for too much longer. So we're going to stay with this fight and see if John can manage to get around me. I imagine it's going to be after the hairpin on the long straight down towards the final turn, or the final chicane, the final turns. I imagine that's the best passing location, but actually he's gotten a really great run on me out of that kind of middle of the lap chicane, and he's forced me defensive. I'm going to have the inside line for this next chicane, and I'm going to hold on to that position. Really difficult to pass at that location around the outside unless you've got better tires or just a better setup or something like that. Very difficult to outbrake somebody at the outside of that turn. And going a little wide there, and almost getting a little bit of oversteer, a little bit of wheel spin at the exit there as I'm trying to get on the power again as early as I can. And John is pretty close still. I don't think he's closer than he was on previous laps, though. I don't think he's going to be able to make a move on this lap. As we come to the end of lap 4 now. Uh-oh, I have changed. There we go. So end of lap 4, start of lap 5 now. And again, John is right behind me, and in the background there you can see Esty is closing on Ashley as well. So we got a couple of fights in the midfield and backfield developing, and it looks like James is just kind of sticking with. Oh no! I've had a bad exit out of turn 2. John's going to have the inside line for the chicane, and he's going to take that position. Very nice move from John. Very opportunistic. Took care of that pretty effortlessly. With my mistake, he was just kind of sitting there waiting for that to happen, and when the window opened up, he went for it and grabbed that position, no problem. So John moves up into P4. That's going to drop me down to P5 now. But I am going to have a nice toe from him here, so hopefully my lap times will actually start to improve now that I'm behind John rather than in front of him. Getting a great shot of the trees and crowd there. Let's go ahead and change the camera angle. we're going to stick with this just for a little bit longer to see how quickly John pulls ahead of me. In the background there at the hairpin, you can see, I believe that was Esty getting by Ashley in the background there. Esty in the yellow Radical. Yes, Esty has managed to get by Ashley. Looks like Ashley might have a little bit of a better... Let's go ahead and let's go back to this fight. Nope, Ashley was not able to pull along. So, oh no, Esty's gone deep into the hairpin. That's going to be a corner cut warning, and he is going to have to let off the gas and give that time back, which means Ashley's going to take that position right back, and he's going to lose a position to James as well. Or, I'm sorry, that's Stefan. I've been calling him James all race. I do apologize, Stefan. Very sorry about that. We don't always have the same people in all these races. You know, people miss races as I did. I missed the race last. I missed the last race, obviously. So sometimes I get a little bit confused. I think James has a black livery as well, which I think maybe is where my confusion is coming from. So we can see here, John has already pulled out quite a gap on me. We're going to move up ahead. So this is the battle for the lead at the moment. Laura's got a pretty nice gap ahead of David. David's definitely not getting any sort of slipstream benefit off him. And it looks like Laura's rear wing might be damaged. Yeah, it looks like there's some damage to Laura's rear wing ever so slightly on the left-hand side. You can see it there. It's just kind of tilted up, and I don't expect that's hindering his performance at all. But it could be. It could be hurting him ever so slightly. Again, this is the pole sitter though, so even with that damage, it's possible he's going to continue pulling out these impressive laps. Let's go ahead and let's do a chase view from Lauro here, so you guys can see how he drives the lap. Yeah, and you can see there is some damage on the left-hand side on the rear quarter panel there. You can see some scratches and a little bit of denting and stuff like that. Wow, what a first couple of turns there. That you could really see the speed difference between Lauro and myself as he goes through those first couple of corners. For the rest of the lap, I would say it's not too bad. The next place where I'm maybe losing time is probably the hairpin, but I tend to make all that back up with my good exit down the straight. So it's mainly just the first couple of corners are the huge difference. I mean, I'm losing anywhere between a half second and a second. Which I know sounds unbelievable, but I think I'm losing about 5/10 to a full second or thereabouts in those first couple of corners, just based on how people were pulling away from me and where they were pulling away from me in the race. As with lots of racers, you know, when I'm driving behind someone and they're pulling away from me, I try to notice what corners specifically they're pulling away from me, so I can maybe try something different. And man, just look at the grip he has going through that hairpin. It's just amazing. And I think he shared his setup with me, so I mean, it's not like this is a setup difference or anything like that. Lauro just having lots of confidence through the corners, braking very late down to second gear for the final chicane here, using all the curb at the exit, and that's a lap on board with Lauro there. And let's go ahead and switch it back to TV and just see what's going on here. Okay, yep, so Spencer is starting to catch up to David now. This is the battle for P2, and we just started lap 8, so there's about 21 laps remaining, 20 laps after this one. Let's just pop back and see what's going on with myself. Yep, just kind of chilling. Yeah, John has really pulled away. Look at that gap. As he's coming out of turn 2, I am just coming into turn 2. That is a huge gap, so John clearly has lots of pace, much more pace than I have anyway. And we can see Spencer blinking a little bit. He might be having some connection problems with his Frontier internet service. And he's dropped back a little bit from David, it looks like, after being a lot closer at the start of this lap. And braking just before that bridge, or just underneath that bridge for this high-speed chicane. And braking at about 200 meters or so for the hairpin. And Spencer using a little bit more track than David, and he's definitely going to get a little bit of a toe on him here. Nothing huge. He's definitely not going to be able to pull alongside him, but he should be able to close down this gap a little bit. And of course, he's going to get another toe after the Wall of Champions. Going to get another nice long straight down to turn 1. And Spencer has gotten a very good exit out of that chicane, and he's very close to David at the moment. and just trying to get as much of that slipstream as he can. Again, unable to pull alongside, but he's really closing that gap down. But it really seems like in the middle of the lap is where David seems faster. David, I believe, admitted that this track is a bit of a specialty for him, which Lauro might disagree with, as Lauro is already going into this this chicane where Vettel spun that one year, and Jensen won the race from last, pretty much. And switching back to David and Spencer. And Spencer is definitely pressurizing David. David's even going defensive, going to the right-hand side of the track. And oh no, it looks like he's gonna let Spencer by. I'm not sure if that was a corner cut. Maybe I think David maybe got a corner cut and was forced to concede the position, but that's gonna put him just behind Spencer now. And Spencer was sticking with David really well, and that's after catching him. So Spencer may have the pace on David at the moment. You can see fourth place. We can't even see. That's how far ahead the top three are here in this race. Just miles ahead of the rest of the field, as we're only coming to the end of lap 9 now. And yeah, Spencer is pulling away from David. Yep, he is absolutely pulling away. David having a really hard time, as we see Lauro in the distance there, going through turn 2 as these guys are just approaching turn 1. And let's go ahead and pop back. Oh no, and what's happened with John? What has happened with John? Oh no, John has just had fantastic pace all race long after getting by me and finally getting that clear air and being able to push. It looks like he's had a moment. Just oversteer. Just oversteer. Oh no, and the back end hits the barrier, and that's going to cause some significant damage to the back end of his car. And you can see his rear wing is just all sorts of messed up. That's going to allow me back ahead of him and up into 4th place again. So it looks like I'm back on in the spot of best of the rest, as the top 3 have really pulled out, and now we have a 5-way battle between myself, John, Ashley, Esty, and Stefan on lap 10 here. We got 18 laps remaining after this one is completed, and it looks like John is carrying on pretty well at the moment. He's sticking with me pretty well, even with that damage. In the corners is certainly where he's going to be noticing the damage to his rear wing, as he's going to be getting significant amounts of downforce on the left-hand side and not so much on the right-hand side. Thankfully for him, this is a clockwise circuit, so there are more right-hand corners than there are left-hand corners. Significantly more right-hand corners. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to say 6 right-hand corners and only 2 or 3 left-hand corners. And the field is just bunching up something crazy here. The end of lap 10, and John again sticking with me really well. It's impressive, you got to say, but you got to imagine that John is going to be diving into the pits pretty soon here, probably on this lap, in order to go ahead and just take care of his refueling. It's only lap 10 here, so if he fills his tank up all the way, he will be able to. Oh no, as I've run deep. Oh no, oh god, oh no, it is chaos, total chaos, and I didn't know this at the time, but I think I 100% caused all of that. That is very interesting indeed. Let's go ahead and let's do a slow motion replay here. We're under braking for the chicane. You can see there's a little bit of a lockup on my outside tire, and I turn in for the corner, and I'm carrying too much speed. I've definitely carried too much speed. I've completely missed my apex. Gonna go straight over the curbs, just clunking right over them. You can really see the suspension working there. John as well is having to go over the curbs very slowly, and it looks like there's contact between John and Ashley, which then causes contact between Esty and Ashley. Ashley actually gets airborne for a little while there. And let's see what we can. Yep, I want to see it from Ashley's point of view here. So Ashley I believe has contact with John because of John's poor. Yep. Nope, he just, no contact. He just slams on the brakes to avoid contact with John, and unfortunately, Esty is just unprepared for that. Ends up running into the back of Ashley, who's definitely going to have some sort of damage at the moment as John spins off to the side there, and in the face of Esty. And so Stefan, though, has really benefited here, as he's going to gain 2 positions and has moved just behind Ashley at the moment, and I am not far up the road. This is the distance right now between Ashley and myself. Let's go ahead, keep it on this rear chase view, because I'm definitely not going to be catching anybody up ahead anytime soon. This is definitely a 5-way battle for 4th position. As the top 3 have really pulled out a giant gap, and they're looking like untouchables at the moment. Yeah, a little hesitant on that corner there. Didn't quite have the turn in just right, and I didn't quite carry enough speed through that last corner as I should have. But it looks like Ashley had a little bit of a moment at the exit of that corner, and that's going to put Stefan around the outside of him. I think Ashley may have even had a corner cut warning, possibly, based on how he slowed down. It seemed like Stefan made that pass happen a little too easily. And I don't see John anymore, so it appears that John may have broken off from this fight. Yeah, I'm not seeing John anymore, unfortunately. So I think John's second spin now, there he is. He's just going into the hairpin now. So he has lost a significant amount of time, and I got to imagine that he's pitting at the end of this lap, as Ashley and Esty are going to go side by side in the background there. It looks like Esty's got position, but Ashley's possibly getting a little bit of a toe off Stefan. But no, he's unable to pull along as Ashley dives into the pits. So Ashley is pitting at the end of lap 10. I imagine he's definitely going to be taking the full 7 gallons of fuel, as Stefan having a little look up the inside, unable to pull alongside though at turn 1. And I've gone a little deep, and I'm very defensive now. Just hanging onto that inside line to try and prevent him from passing. Very difficult to go around the outside at turn 2 there. Braking very conservatively for this corner. This is one of the easiest places on the track to spin, is at that first chicane. It's also one of my favorite parts of the lap. I really enjoy that first chicane. I really enjoy Sector 1 of this track. I'd say after this point, I don't quite enjoy it as much. So this next chicane that we're coming up to now, I don't really enjoy that one. I really don't enjoy the hairpin, and to be honest, I really don't enjoy the final chicane where the Wall of Champions is. Whoa, as Stefan braking very late and nearly running into me there, and that's going to compromise his exit through that chicane, the one that I don't like. And that's going to put Esty just behind him, and it looks like Esty's going to pull to the inside, going to have the inside line for this hairpin, and he's going to have to give room to Stefan, who's got the outside line, and they both come out of there, and it looks like Esty's got the position for the meantime. But if Stefan's gotten a good enough exit, and he's using that slipstream to good effect, he may be able to pull back alongside Esty. He really needs the inside line, though, in order to make an overtake happen here, as Esty does move to the outside. But no, Stefan is unable to pull alongside, as Esty is going to dive into the pits now, which will release Stefan, who has a very bad final corner there, and is all over the curbs, and that's just going to lose him loads of time. And that's going to give me a nice breathing room in order to try and push and just see what kind of gap I could pull out. Again, the top 3 are gone. I am very well aware that there is no chance of me catching them at this point. It's only lap 13, so we're not even at the halfway point of this race just yet. And here's David going through, in 3rd place, David going through the chicane that I don't like, and you can see here, I'm still in Sector 1. So, I mean, we're talking a 20-30 second gap at the moment. I'm not sure where Spencer is. What happened to Spencer? Okay, here's Spencer. Sorry, I'm going to take this back. Did he pit? Yep, it looks like Spencer pit. Oh, it looks like Spencer had some damage. Let's see what happened with Spencer here. Sorry to rewind it. I know this is really, I got to imagine it happened right at the start of this lap. Yeah, so it was at the end of lap 11, start of lap 12. Spencer breaking down for the final corner with David just behind. And he nails that apex, nails the other apex, and then again, just like John, he spins it. But unlike John, he has contact with the left barrier rather than the outside barrier, and that's caused significant damage to the front and rear of his car. And unfortunately, he now has to drive an entire lap like this. He has to drive an entire lap with his car this damaged. So he does pit at the end of lap 11. End of lap 12, start of lap 13. Yep. So he's done 12 laps. He's got to do 16 more. So he's probably going to do about 6 gallons of fuel. So he's going to be slower than the cars around him, or I guess no one's really going to be around him when he comes out. But he's going to be slower than the cars ahead of him when he comes out because he's got a lot more fuel. His tires, I think, are a little bit colder, stuff like that. So he's going to have a little bit of some issues in these first couple of laps as he's out of the pits. But he really needs to focus on putting in some nice, consistent laps. And you know what? I'm just now realizing that his paint job is artwork. It's not snakeskin. Oh gosh. Gray. The guy's name is Gray, who does this type of art, I want to say. I can't remember his first name. It's like Andy Gray or something like that. But yeah, he does like these faces with like the multiple eyes and stuff like that, like trippy stuff. So Spencer there, sorry, I think I've been calling your livery snakeskin livery this whole time when it turns out it's actually a psychedelic livery. Something out of the 60s here. Very, very nice though. So let's see, I wonder what that has done for Spencer's position here. Yeah, he's all the way behind John now, so Spencer's actually in 7th at the moment, but of course he has pit and other cars have not, which means I'm actually in 3rd at the moment because of Spencer's issue, but he's very, very quick, and he didn't lose all that much time because he was going to have to pit anyway. And you get one quick repair. Your first pit stop, it's a quick repair. So there's, which I thought there was a button for. I thought you could just do it on track, but I've since had that sorted out by the boys at PRL. So there is no quick repair button. It's just a quick repair that you get when you go into the pits. So he has taken care of his one compulsory pit stop. He did lose some time on lap 12 as a result of that damage, and obviously he lost a lot of time on lap 11 as a result of that spin. So he's lost a significant amount of time, but he's much, much quicker than I am. So I would be very surprised to come out of the pits ahead of him when I pit. Now I've got the full 7 laps of fuel. I want to say that I'm going to be pitting somewhere between laps 14 and 18, thereabouts, somewhere between 14 and maybe 19. And we are on lap 14 at the moment, so my pit stop window is just about opening up at the moment. As Stefan it has closed down that gap to me after a few laps now. Remember, he had that bad exit at the final corner and lost loads of time to me, but over the past couple of laps he's been pushing very hard, and I think he's even getting a little bit of a slipstream off of me now. As we finish lap 14, breaking down for the final chicane. Oh, and I've gone wide. Yep, I missed my apex at the start. I got a pretty good exit, but Stefan has definitely caught me, and he's getting a very nice tow down this down towards turn 1 here as we cross the start-finish line. He's not going to pull alongside though. He was very close, but just not quite able to pull alongside and get that move done. And I've gotten a good exit out of turn 2, so he's not quite able to pull alongside. You can see he's having a peek to see if maybe he would be able to pull alongside, but I got a good exit out of turn 2, and I'm actually pulling away now out of the turn 3-4 chicane, and still pulling away. No, and now he's closing under braking a little bit later than me. And I really need a good exit here. Yep, you can see I fed, oh no, as I'm in the grass a little bit, so that's going to compromise my exit for sure. But you can see I really moved the car far to the left in that chicane to try and open up the exit to get a nice run down this straight here before this second gear chicane. Got to be really careful at that chicane, especially at the exit. The entrance is pretty easy. The exit is where it's really easy to spin of that chicane. And then break down. This is a first gear corner. This hairpin, as Stefan takes a much more different line than me, as he goes deep into the corner and then kind of squares it off almost. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. It's almost like a V shape. He cuts the inside, goes deep, and so he's almost taking two apexes. He takes an early apex followed by a late apex, which is a very common tactic. A lot of people do that at the corner in Silverstone. Yeah, the final corner at Silverstone. Nope, penultimate corner at Silverstone. The second to last corner, the very long right-hander. Sometimes people will... sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought now. No, that's not the corner I'm thinking of. Brooklands, the corner after Brooklands, the big, long right-hander. Sometimes the F1 drivers do that too. They cut the inside, they hit the apex right at the start of the corner, they run deep, let the car slow down, and then cut it back to get a nice late apex and a good run out of the corner. Very common tactic, and Stefan behind me is using it to really good effect. He's sticking with me really well through all of this, actually. He's definitely a threat, and that's John behind. I don't think he ever pit, actually. I don't believe John has pit yet. That would be really impressive if he pit from behind me and then has now caught me. So even with all that damage that John has and everything, I don't think that he's pit yet. And Stefan trying a little bit of a cutback on me there, but didn't quite work. I got a little bit of a better exit out of the hairpin than he did, and so that's gonna allow me to stay in front of him in the meantime. But again, he's getting a really nice slipstream. So we're bouncing off the limiter, and it looks like he's gonna be pitting, I think. Yep, and he is indeed pitting. And John is going to continue on. So this is the end of lap 16, start of lap 17. So pretty soon here I am going to be pitting, either at the end of this lap, the next one, or the one after that. Sometime in the next 3 laps I'm going to be pitting. And Stefan, of course, releases John to maybe try and attack. Again, John definitely has the better pace, but right now he's got a pretty heavily damaged car, especially that rear wing. So he might still struggle to get by me, but his pure pace, his raw speed, might be enough that even with the damage he's able to get by me. Holy crap. Look in the distance. Look behind John. Look who's going through the chicane right there. That is Spencer. I believe that is Spencer, who has already pit after spinning, and he is catching John and I. Look at this. Look how close he is now. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. I was just a couple laps ago talking about whether or not I'll come out of the pits ahead of Spencer, and clearly I will not, as he is already caught up to the back of John and I after already making a pit stop. So clearly Spencer has absolutely amazing pace at this track here. As John dives into the pits now at the end of lap 17, and I'm going to continue on. So I do believe I am going to be pitting at the end of this coming lap here, at lap 18 now. Currently running in P3, but not for long, as Spencer is behind and John is undercutting me. And let's see what we got going on ahead of us here, because I do hear a car up ahead, and that is David, who has pit. So currently I am in the middle of this battle for second, but I am out of position. I'm definitely in at least the net 4th or 5th at this point, even depending on how fast John is, maybe even 6th depending on how fast Stefan is. You can see a little bit of damage on my right side pod there, on the right-hand side of the car. I don't think that's affecting my performance, though. And I don't imagine that Spencer is going to be behind for too much longer. Oh, yep, and he is definitely not going to be behind for much longer, because I am pitting here at the end of lap 18. So I am going to be taking on fuel, not tires. No new tires, certainly. But I am going to be taking on fuel, probably about 4 gallons of fuel. And there we go, stopping in my pit box there. And we could go ahead and fast forward this. No need to sit here and wait for me to... There we go. So I'm coming out of the pits now. And let's see, where is John? I believe John has already gone through. In fact, Esty has already gone through. And Spencer, of course, has gone through as well, but not John. This is interesting. Where is John? John is in the pits again. John is in the pits again, and Ashley's in the pits as well with a severely damaged car as well. I'm not sure what's going on there. But Stefan not far behind at the moment. Yeah, it looks like he's maybe 5 or 6 seconds behind, maybe a little bit more than that. So I have pulled out a little bit of a gap on Stefan during the pit stop phase of this race, but he has looked like the faster driver for pretty much the entire race. Currently running in 4th position. Yep, currently running in 4th. The only people ahead of me at the moment... No, I'm sorry, I am currently running in 5th as Esty has jumped me. Yep, here's Esty. He's currently running in 4th position. So I've been relegated down to P5, which means if Stefan gets by me, I'm going to be all the way down in P6. Very heavy over the curbs there at the final chicane. That is definitely not the best way to take that corner. So we see Ashley finally coming out of the pits with his pretty damaged car. Something tells me he's got optional repairs that are just taking too long. And he's actually going to be a nice buffer, though, behind myself and Stefan. So hopefully he can actually slow Stefan down a little bit. He is a lap down, so he is going to have to concede the position to Stefan. But I'm hoping that it'll at least throw Stefan off a little bit. Really, Ashley did not affect my race at all coming out of the pits there. I took my normal racing line and everything, so I just barely got out in front of him. Looks like I went a little deep into that hairpin. Ashley as well. I think Ashley might be letting Stefan by. Nope, not quite. But I think he's thinking about it. Yep, he's going to move to the side. It looks like his car is actually moving on its own, so I think the damage to his car is affecting him. Excuse me. Sorry, I've been so tired these days. Those of you that don't follow me on Twitter, I'm currently working 2 jobs, about 65 hours a week. Nope, 60 hours a week. About 60 hours a week, maybe 61, 62, something like that. I am also writing 2 articles per week for iRacing News now, as Stefan in the back there does get by Ashley. I think he may have actually helped him, though. I think he might have gotten a slipstream off Ashley. And let's see, this is lap 21 now, so there's only 8 laps left, including this one. And still got about a 3-second gap to Stefan, but unfortunately that's not going to be enough. He only needs about half a second a lap on me in order to make this pass happen. And it's looking like he's got that and then some, probably. Also, one thing I do want to mention, just while we got a little bit of downtime and I got a moment to talk to you guys, for this race, I was still using 210 or 240 degree steering angle. Recently, as I'm sure you guys have figured out, I stopped racing in F1 2013. I'm probably still going to do some career stuff. Excuse me again. Oh man, I hope I'm not making you guys tired with all my yawns. I know it's contagious. So Miko and I have both stopped racing in F1 2013 competitively. We have talked about continuing the co-op series, and I am still thinking about doing the single career series, because I still do enjoy the game. It's just all the lag problems that we get online that causes frustrations and that sort of thing. So now that I'm focusing on sim racing, I've changed my steering angle to the full 900. Oh my god, I can't stop yawning now. I've changed my steering angle to the full 900 so that I can be more successful in games like iRacing and Assetto Corsa and eventually Project Cars when I get that. Real sim racers, it seems, I really didn't realize this for a while, but it seems real sim racers don't really like Project Cars versus iRacing. I'm still very excited for Project Cars. It's a cheaper alternative with much prettier graphics. The physics, I'm sure, aren't as good. It's probably not as realistic, but it's probably really, really close, and I'm expecting it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to Project Cars personally. Let's go ahead and do blimp view for this battle now. And you can see the wonderful shots of the track here. The water doesn't look so pretty there. It kind of looks like snow or concrete or something like that. There we go. Now it looks a little bit more realistic. But with this blimp view, you can get a really nice view of the lines that we're taking and you know, the corners that Stefan is catching me in. You can also see that really huge gap to Esty up the front. Esty has really pulled out a pretty significant gap. It looks like I've had a pretty poor turn 1 there. It's going to put Stefan right up on me, but I've gotten a much better exit out of turn 2, as I tend to do, as we lose the cars a little bit from this blimp angle. You can see him now through turns 3 and 4 at the chicane. Going to lose him again for just a moment. It looks like I'm keeping him behind at the moment, but unfortunately he is basically already within attacking distance. I mean, you can see how close he gets under braking, so obviously Stefan is within striking distance already. He's going to be pushing very hard here with not that many laps left. We're on lap 23 of 28, so there's only 5 laps remaining in this race once we cross the start-finish line coming up here, and it looks like I've gotten a little bit of a better exit. He had a bit of a better corner, mid-corner, but I've gotten by, and we're going to get this nice overhead shot, of course, because the blimp moves as it's filming the cars. So one of the reasons I really like this camera angle is you don't get the same shots every lap. Breaking down for the final couple of corners and trying to carry as much speed as you can through that chicane, which is very difficult, very challenging course. The curbs are really unforgiving at this course as well, but at the same time I feel they're very accurate to the curbs in real life. Obviously not a circuit I've been to before, definitely not a circuit I've driven in real life before, but I get the sense that the curbs are very accurate and very representative of what the curbs are like in real life. I've talked to some people who have told me that people who have driven this track in real life say that this track is spot on. Of course, it is a laser scan track, as I believe all of iRacing tracks are, or at least most of them. So the attention to detail is, you know, unparalleled for sure. I mean, it is. I think the trees even are exactly right. And actually, I'm going to switch to a little bit closer view now. I'm going to switch to the chopper. A little bit more zoomed in version here. You can see Stefan taking a wider line, much later apex there than he has been in previous laps. So I think he's trying to get a better exit. I think he has realized my tactics as far as getting a good exit out of the hairpin to try and prevent that overtake. And I think he's trying to follow suit, trying to take the same line as me. Again, approaching 170 miles an hour, breaking down into second gear for this final chicane. And I missed the first apex, got a decent exit, but Stefan's exit was as good or better than mine. He is very close. He's going to move to the left-hand side to try and get that slipstream off of me. And he's closing, under braking. And he's gone wide through turn 1. And got a nice turn 2, though. He's going to have a very nice exit. He needs to try and stick with me through the curvy parts of this lap, of course. Lap 25 now. Only 4 laps remaining, including this one. And you can really see the different lines that we take out of the exit of that corner. And it looks like the line that I had just allowed me to get on the gas a little bit sooner than he did, and just ensure that he wasn't able to pull alongside me as we go underneath the bridge for the chicane. Coming out, he got a little bit of a better exit. He's getting a very good toe on me. He's probably going to be moving to the inside. This is it. Lap 25 now. He's got the inside line. I'm going to give him lots of room. And wow, and he defends fantastically. I thought he was going to run wide, and I tried the switchback. You can see me move the steering wheel far to the right, and I was going to try and cut back to the inside, see if I could pull alongside him for this straight, but he defends the position very well, holds that inside line, blocks me from moving alongside, and then oh no, and it looks like there may have been contact under braking, and I'm not sure what happened there. We're going to have to go ahead and rewind that. Let's do this from suspension? No, that's no good. Let's do a gyro. Yeah, this is a good one. And let's take this back. And you can see he brakes just a little bit earlier than me. Yep, and there's definitely contact. You can see damage on the back of his car ever so slightly. I did talk to him after this race, and he was not aware of any contact or damage between us. But you could very clearly see there that there was damage to the car after the contact between us, or supposed contact. Let me go ahead and do this in slow motion. You can see he starts braking, and then I start braking, but unfortunately, I'm in the dirty air. I'm not getting the downforce required, and right there, I think, is the contact between us, and boom, you can see the car gets a little bit dented, and you can see my back end loosens up. I counter steer the car. It's going to put me heavy over the curbs, but at least I managed to avoid spinning the car around entirely. So I'm going to lose a good couple of seconds to Stefan here, unfortunately. It was looking like he was probably going to pull away from me anyway, but after this incident, it's going to be very difficult indeed for me to pull to catch up to him, especially without the aid of that slipstream. And of course, this does drop me down now into P6. So I'm just losing points here. And I got a corner cut warning as well because of the way I took that curb at the final corner, or the penultimate corner. So I'm actually having to lift off here and just sort of give him and give some time back, as we see Ashley coming out of the pits again. I think that's pit stop number 3 for Ashley, who is definitely having a race to forget. And he's going to very, very kindly let me by. I think he recognized that there was a battle between myself and Stefan going on. So he very, very kindly let me by. Didn't give me any sort of issues whatsoever. So that's going to give me the best opportunity that I have to try and catch back up to him with only 3 laps remaining now. But it is a pretty big gap. We're looking at a 5, 6, 7, 8 second gap or so, somewhere around there. Now again, he may have damage to his car, so I might be able to catch back up with him, but at the moment, it's certainly not looking very good. As we're coming towards the hairpin on lap 26, only a couple of laps left in this race. Currently running in P6. Remember, Ashley behind me is a lap down or more, so the battle for him is not for position. I do believe he, at this point in the race, he just has every intention of sticking with me until the end of the race. I think he had several opportunities to pass me, which you guys will be seeing coming up here in a little bit. I think he had opportunities to pass me and actually opted not to, just to sort of give me a chance to maybe catch up to Stefan and see if I can maybe retake that 5th position. So very appreciative of Ashley. As always, very kind, courteous racing here in the Precision Racing League. For those of you watching who are iRacing fans, for those of you who play iRacing, who enjoy iRacing, who are looking for a league to race in on Sundays. Oh no! Sorry to interrupt my my PRL promo here, but it looks like Stefan has had some sort of issue, and that enormous gap that he had has been reduced to just about nothing. Let's go ahead and switch to a chase view here, so we can see exactly what happened. He's taking turn 1 now. and he's going through turn 2, and he does that thing where he goes deep, and then oh, he's got some oversteer, and it sent him off the course. There's some minor contact with the barrier there. He didn't get a corner cut, so he's not giving any time back. He just lost loads of time with that contact to the barrier. Now I can tell you what I'm thinking, because I actually did see this. I did see this spin. I want to take this back, and I'm going to do it cockpit. I know I don't normally do cockpit view for the commentated races here, but I'm going to show you right here. Boom, right there. You can see him up ahead. I can see that he's had some sort of incident with the wall. So I can tell you that I assumed at the time when I saw that he had that contact with the wall because of a spin that resulted in the damage that I caused on his car. So I am right up on him now, and I have a pretty good chance to pass him. But I am concerned that the damage I caused on the back of his car may have resulted in that spin. So I am not going to attempt a maneuver. I'm not going to try and overtake here. I'm just going to stick with him, much in the same way that Ashley has been doing with me on this penultimate lap here. This is lap 27, second to last lap of the race. I do believe that I caused his spin. He actually believes otherwise. He doesn't think that that the damage to he thinks it was just a pure mistake on his point when we were talking after the race. But I'm not so sure. Even now, after talking to him, I'm still not convinced, because on this replay here, you could see in the slow motion that clearly I am the one that caused that dent on the back of the car. Now, whether that dent is actually causing performance issues is heavily up for debate. But I'm not really I'm not comfortable passing him after seeing the damage that I've caused him. I can tell you that right now. So running down to the line for the penultimate time. This is the second to last time we'll be crossing the finish line as we start lap 28 of this race. And you can see Ashley is right up behind me, so clearly Ashley was the faster driver this race. He just didn't quite have the consistency that I had in the Radical here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So unfortunately for him, Ashley is going to come home in last place in spite of that good pace that he had. And again, I'm really not trying to pass Stefan here. I can't tell you though, one thing I do really enjoy is when cars finish a race very close to each other. So I am going to try and get as close to him as I can for this finish, but I am not going to attempt any sort of overtake or anything like that. I'm really just looking for a side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel type finish where he wins by a couple hundredths or something like that. That's my goal at the moment. And you can actually see there's a little dent on the back of my Radical on the left-hand side there, just south of the R in racing. And actually it looks like as I've got a little bit of oversteer at the hairpin there, and that's going to compromise my exit, and that means my close finish with Stefan is ruined, unfortunately. But so very nice race though. I had a lot of fun. Obviously it's a proper F1 circuit, and this car is a lot of fun, so I had a lot of fun racing here. And just to finish up my promo, if any of you guys watching do iRacing and you're looking for a very respectful league to race in, I highly recommend PRL. It's at precisionracingleague.com. I've recommended it before. I've linked the website in the description of all my previous PRL videos. So if you guys are looking for something like that, I highly recommend you go and check it out. I've really enjoyed my time at PRL. I'm going to continue racing at PRL as well for next season, which again is looking like it's going to be in the Mustang, which I'm actually looking forward to though. I enjoy mixing the cars up. I like that they do that. So if any of you guys are interested in racing with me, there's no splits or anything like that. Anybody who signs up for PRL is going to be in the same races as myself, which means I'll get the opportunity to talk about you and do commentary on your race and stuff like that. As you can see, you know, I primarily stick with my own car, obviously, since it's my channel. So most of the footage is from my view, but I do try and get some other points of view in there, just to make things exciting and to inform the viewers as to what's going on in the race and stuff like that, just to keep everybody informed. So if any of you guys out there are looking for a league, we race on Sundays. It is kind of, it's a nighttime race for those of you who are in Europe or in the UK. The race is at 4 p.m. my time, which means it's at 10 p.m. GMT on Sundays. It's free to race, of course. There was a $3 fee for the season with the roof, but there was no fee for this season, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a fee for next season. Donations are welcome, something that I plan on doing. I've been a little bit on the broke side recently, but now that I'm working 2 jobs, obviously, the money is starting to flow once again, so I probably will be doing a donation to Precision Racing League pretty soon here, and I hope some of you guys might join. Obviously, you can see right now we only had 8 drivers for this race, which is still enough. I enjoy racing, you know, even if there's only 3 or 4 other cars on the track. You know, I'm just out there because I really enjoy it. I'm not out there to you know, win in a field of 40 cars. Sure, that would be nice. Everybody would like something like that, but obviously that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal for me is fun. I want to enjoy the racing that I'm doing, and I have really enjoyed the racing at Precision Racing League. I obviously really enjoyed AOR as well. Multiple seasons there, 2 seasons at AOR. I really enjoy AOR, and it's a lot of fun. It's just with F1 2013 and me being in America while everyone else is in Europe, you know, that just makes things difficult. So I'm not slagging off on AOR or anything like that, to use a British term, but Precision Racing League is fantastic for iRacing. So if any of you guys have any interest whatsoever in racing, even casually, as many of you have seen and heard in my videos here, I don't get much practice for these races. I don't have much experience with iRacing, you know. I'm a naturally, I would say, above average racer. I'm not a great racer, but I would say I'm above average. I've got a fair amount of natural skill. I'm no Alex Gillen or Jerome Queekle, certainly, but you know, I have some skill, and I just really enjoy the racing, and I enjoy not having to put 10 hours of practice into a race, only to get run off the road by somebody, or because of a lag issue or something like that. So that's going to do it for this video, for this episode. Don't forget, there will be a link to the unedited race from cockpit view, as always, at the end of this video. And I hope you'll join me next time for my first oval race at South Boston. Thanks for watching.